Hi, Hans. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So this program, we are Leadership Unlearned and Reframed. We say leadership unlearned because we've been taught certain things about leaders, and we are inviting people to think about that and sometimes to debunk it. And sometimes we do that on this program. And we're not leaving you hanging. We're saying unlearn what you've learned. And how about reframing it? We're going to offer reframes so that you can come with fresh perspectives. You can think about it and reflect on what you think leadership is. So this is a space of curiosity and exploration. And hopefully we all leave with a new question, a new thought, a new way of being, and we could leave something behind. So we take something forward and we leave something behind. So hence, I asked you to come on today because you and your team have been working on something that's pretty new, that is about reframing the way that we lead and things that we do. So you could introduce yourself and tell us about what you've been working on.
Thank you so much, Maxine, and thank you so much for the amazing introduction in terms of your podcast also. And it's super interesting to hear more about like our fresh perspective is always welcome, I believe. So my background is from consulting industry. So I worked at Ernst & Young back in the days, or EY as they're called now, as a consultant for 6-7 years, and from there it was like I was 1 year in telecom with a product manager there, and but it was like typical career ladder, you know. But for now, or when I was working there and as a consultant, I like felt that the gene in me, the creativity gene in me, wasn't fulfilled. So I needed to jump out of the classical career ladder and jump onto the founder train and become a founder of Diglify and the product team Coachr AI, which we will talk more about today.
So from career path, follow your creativity and become a founder. I like that. I like that in terms of, I guess that's where a consultant comes in. It almost sounds like a model, right? How to become a founder 101, right? So get some experience, feed your creativity, take a jump and a leap and start Diglify. And this is the Team Coach AI. And so tell us a little bit about why Team Coach AI? What is the purpose of it, and what are you hoping to do with it?
Yeah, a great question. And so the reason, like the purpose of why we started it in the first place was that when I was working as a consultant, even you worked in one of the best consultancies services in the world, you still were just lucky if you were on a project with a great leader. Because I think that's a common all over the world, where we excel in our positions due to subject matter expertise and not because of people management skills. And so somewhere in that ladder, as we just introduced also my own career path, is that somewhere here you need to be responsible for people, but you don't have this sufficient training to and out there you have like thousands of tools that is managing your task and managing and being efficient in task management, but people management and how to actually become great at that with an easy, simple solution wasn't out there. And and we now talk to like several hundred coaches throughout the whole world, which still haven't found the solution that really help the team leader together with all the team members facilitate great discussions with simple and easy to use product that now we also build with artificial intelligence, but together with 30 years of science build into it, which help the team measuring psychological safety and train on it, measuring feedback culture and train on it, and so forth. So So we can go back to the 6 pillars of success as we defined, but this was the reason why we started in the first place, is that it wasn't no any tool out there that really helped the team leader to become great at managing their people together with their subject matter expertise. And then you have the perfect mix if you also are good at managing people and you are good at the subject matter expertise. That's like the best combination, but it's very seldom to find those people out there. So we want to help them really, which is I think something very many teams out there needs, and team leaders and organizations out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a formula in organizations. We have technical experts, they give us great work and we usually promote them. And in the haste of promoting, we see about all the salaries and the perks, and very often we don't give them the hard soft skills. I call them hard soft skills that they really
that's
need.
a great term.
Yeah, thanks.
I like that.
That they really need to be able to push their teams forward, because a lot of times, we don't equip them with what they need. So I like the idea that, because of course, as a leader, the first question is, what are the skills that I need? Because you don't know what you don't know, and where do I find them? So I like the fact that you have targeted that leaders don't have these soft skills. We accept that as we accept that as golden, and that I'm going to put something in place where the leader can work on him or herself and with the team as well. You did mention 6 pillars. So what are the 6 pillars of success that the team Coach AI addresses?
So we believe in that the foundation of every team is built on psychological safety, trust, and from that you cascade it to feedback mechanisms, which you need to work on, which is feedback and appreciation, which needs to be in place. And then from there you can go into healthy friction and conflicts together with discussions, because you cannot just jump over psychological safety and feedback and just start with conflicts. But so you need to cascade that and build capabilities and success functions on those pillars first, the 2 first pillars, and then you can go into the conflict discussion. And then you have also commitment and meaning. So together with commitment and buy-in, you also need a meaningful goal that you are committed to, which is can see in science from we are inspired by, for instance, Project Aristotle, the research from Google, the research from Amy Edmondson, the research and evidence-based methods from Patrick Lencioni, and the culture code and so forth. So we are inspired by those seminal researchers and seminal practitioners out there that has walked up these paths before and made it super easy for people to train and measure themselves on. So from psychological safety and to feedback to healthy conflicts and and then commitment and meaning, go over to accountability and expectations towards to each other. And what we see in our data set is that it's very few people that goes in and actually make each other accountable, because that's assumed that the leader should do that, so we should wait on the leader and say that the leader should come in and then make everyone accountable for their work. But no, high performing teams, you see it over and over again, they say to each other that you are underperforming, you need to step up, because we have set high standards there, and said in a way that when the psychological safety is in place, it's accepted and agreed upon, and then instead of leading to conflict, that you make each other accountable for not performing or for not delivering on time and so forth. And the last one is that you also need the focus on the impact you have. The results you produce needs to have an impact on the strategic direction of the company. So So you need to focus also on, okay, so what do I do every day that actually goes into the strategic direction, and I feel that I understand that. It's also very important. So that's like the 6 pillars, and I think all of your listeners know them in one way or another from other researchers, but the whole idea behind Team Coachr is to empower every team leader with and equip them with easy to use tools that they train on it together as a team, together instead of sitting one-on-one and learn it by themselves, but expose themselves when they are at work to adapting to their team.
Yeah, so these six factors, the psychological safety, the feedback, the healthy conflict, commitment, accountability, impact. You know, one thing that's missing from them is there's no attention paid to the technical skills, because I guess the assumption is that the technical skills are there and these are what will make the difference. I'm going to come back to these in a little bit, but I wanted to talk about AI in particular. A lot of times when we hear AI, we think about, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. So for those of us who are coaches, Hans, you're taking away our jobs.
I think that's the 5th time I heard it today. So, so we don't believe that AI will take over your job. We think that people that utilize and empower themselves with AI are taking over your job, because they're going to be more efficient. They're going to be more faster in their working, and give even better feedback and better training to those they are coaching. And so how we use AI is to help the team member to have a little bit of a coach on their shoulder to say and whisper in their ear when they are like in a discussion. We use AI to help them build on their strength, to have and utilize their strength in every discussion they have with their team. So for instance, like when they are going to talk about psychological safety and maybe they are afraid to admit mistakes in the team and so forth, and they need to talk about that, then we use AI together with the personality assessment that we do, and nudge them that specific for that discussion, what can you bring with your strength to empower and to the whole team that they can become better at, increase their comfort zone, or in terms of admitting mistakes, show vulnerability, or what discussion ends up to be. So in that way, we use AI to tailor fit every discussion to every team based on the results of their pulse survey that we use to measure what they need to train on. And then based on what they need to train on, in the session they discuss, we use AI to nudge every team member to perform at their best in that discussion.
Yeah, so definitely what I'm hearing you say is that it seems like this software operates on a few levels. So there is like the module when you enter, when the team is working on it, there will be activities for the team, and each individual in the team can also get information from this AI tool about how to better improve their personal individual journey. Yes?
Yeah.
So before we go on, I just want to recognize that Pamela is here with us. And Pamela, feel free to jump in the discussion at any point in time, ask any questions of me or of Hans about anything that you heard today. So welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for us?
Yes, just going back just quickly. Jens, I'm saying that correctly. So you were saying, I just wanted to, you were saying that high performing teams, it is the team members, if I get it right, who keep each other accountable, not the manager.
Yeah, so
it's also the manager, but the manager helps equipped all the team members feel the freedom of making each other accountable, or peer-to-peer accountability, as Patrick Lencioni would have said it in his research. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'll expand on that a little bit. I think traditionally when we think about accountability, we think about the leader holding the individual's accountability.
Correct.
When the team feels safe to give each other feedback and feel safe enough to have a healthy conflict, not about you or me, but about, listen, what we are doing or how we've achieved it. If we have that sort of psychological safety, it becomes easy for me to say to Pamela, hey, Pamela, you dropped the ball. Hey, Hans, you dropped the ball. So that in that way, that's where we begin to have peer-to-peer accountability. Yeah. Yeah. Good. So we all on the same page with that.
Yeah.
Great, Maxine. That's a great formulated way.
And Mark, so could you? I didn't get that thing with AI where you're saying that there are different levels, because I assume that AI would be used individually, not as a group. Maybe I got it wrong.
Yeah, so let's get, yeah, so that's a great question. So Hans, you could explain how this team, the name of the program we looking at today is Team Coachr AI. And so Hans, you could explain to Pamela how it works both for the team at the team level and at the individual level in a little more detail. Yeah.
Great. So what we do is that we based Team Coachr AI on two specific data points. The one first is based on your personal strength, which is measured by Big Five, and then we also measure the team's, the whole team performance in terms of the 6 pillars that we measure. So it was like a psychological safety feedback and so forth. And based on the pulse survey, the team, so if you talk about the team will get tailor-fitted training based on their results, ready to train, instead of like today you have pulse surveys tools that measures a lot and they give great advice, but where it stops is where like you have the pulse survey results and the HR department say to the department leader that you should work on this with your team, and then the team leader gets the responsibility to take out actions based on the pulse survey, but they really seldom manage to actually execute it. And then we help them execute it because we use AI, and together with our algorithms, that based on the pulse survey results, they get instant training tailored fitted to that team. And when they are in that discussion, when they are training together, for instance, improving some other dimension of feedback, for instance, we are bad at listening in the team. We are not good at listening to each other. Then they have a session which training on listening skills together, and then bring their strength into that every discussion they have. So that's like, I should have like shown you how the product works, because it's quite complex in terms of technology, but it's very easy to use. So you just imagine that we measure things that you need to train on, and we help you with the training. And it's adapting to your team performance on your journey. So think of it like as we're measuring what we need to train on, we have the training, and then we use AI to equip you and and make you perform at your best in every discussion you have with your team.
Yes. So I'll add to that, right? In terms of my experience of it, that's where the AI comes in terms of the adaptability, the agility, the flexibility, and the immediacy of it. So that if, as Hans said, if 3 of us were on a team together, we would have a listening team module. And each of us, so we'll get activities for the team, and each of us, based on our responses and based on the surveys and our outputs and the way we answer certain questions, each of us will get tailored feedback that is for us only, so that we as individuals could improve. And I think that's what I like about, in terms of playing with the software, what I like about it, because it recognizes that each of us is an individual, and each of us has things that we're great at and things that we need some work on. And it sort of does it simultaneously. So while taking care of the team, it also takes care of the individual. And sometimes it's really difficult, as a coach, working on those two levels at the same time. So I think that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that answer to your question, Pamela, or please?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
So hence, let's go back to what you were talking about in terms of these 6 pillars, right? And this is, you're talking about it, and I'm seeing a lot of the Leoncini models coming out here in terms of his dysfunctions. This is the flip side of it. And in terms of the spaces that I work in as well, I just had a meeting today with a team that we did a team retreat, and then it was like all the things that come up in a team retreat and how we're going to go forward. So if a team were new to this, new to your AI tool, how would you tell them to go about it in terms of step 1, step 2, step 3? What does that look like?
So step 1 is actually what I would call step 1 is that if you are the team leader, think of, are you the right person to facilitate this discussion in the team, or do you need a coach that should help you facilitate it? Because at different levels in the organization. So, for instance, a leadership team we see which has a totally different agenda than the line manager and the middle manager and the line managers and their teams. So that's like the first question. Am I have a good facilitation skills that can do these discussions? And what's irony here is that best performing teams, before they start using Team Coachr AI, they just jumps on the Team Coachr AI and wants to be better. But the teams that really needs it, which is like the underperforming teams, they don't maybe recognize themselves that they should do it, and it's like they never get going. So that's like the first step to understand. First, if you need to hire Maxine and
I'm here
together with other coaches, or am I? Because that's like something we should be aware of, and it's not let me say a loss in confidence that you are not good at facilitating, because that's very seldom that we are. So because that's some skills that we just figure out on the way on our career journey. So
Correct.
So that's the first question. Sorry, Pamela?
That's correct. I was agreeing with what you were saying.
Great. And so that's like the first question you should ask you. But the second one is that, okay, so let's say I want to jump on the solution. I feel that I can facilitate it. So I am the team leader now in my so what should I then do? So the thing is that you need to look at and talk to your team and say that we want to I just want to test out something new that will help everyone in the team to become the better person of themselves, or even better, like the team experience. And I want to like just make sure that our team has the best team dynamic that we can have. And just state to the team if they are interested, because if you have one in the team that is not interested in doing this, so you need to have buy-in from the whole team, the commitment part, but you need to have everyone's buy-in that yes, let's try it out, and then when you are ready to go, it's just to the technical thing is just you make yourself a user, click on start the journey, and then it's self-facilitated. So everything is self-facilitated for you. You only need to push actually one button, and then just invite the team members in your team, And when everybody has a user, they train themselves together synchronically when they are in the team modules. But when you are in the single development module or self-reflection modules, you can train by yourself. For instance, learn more about your big 5 traits, learn more about your why your other personalities are irritating you, or when do you can train yourself on when do you, for instance, your pitfalls. When if I feel at least I'm a very creative person, but when I meet very structured and rigid people, we get tension, and if we don't talk about that tension, it becomes potential conflicts, and it can even be personal conflict because we haven't talked about it, because we go into meetings, and then I want to be creative and draw on the whiteboard, and then people and then the strict or the rigid person, how I see it, he or she may feel that they are structured, but I feel they are rigid, so I feel like trapped in their rigidity. and then because they want not listen to all my creative ideas, and then it's like a typical scenario. I felt it so many times when I worked as a consultant.
Yeah.
And but if you don't talk about it, it becomes an issue later. So that's like preparing yourself, mature yourself, that you need to understand yourself and how you potentially see others, and how others see you also. And that's what our tool also is helping you with, because we measure your personality, and we measure and give you some reflection modules that you can do by yourself to increase your maturity in terms of accepting others for being different, and accepting them. That's actually that's a great quote, is that if you look at your allergies to other as the positive opposite of your core quality, then you have a more acceptance of others being irritated. So I know when I'm irritated about rigid people because I'm creative, I want to be that, I can understand then, oh, they are just too much structure. So they like to be structured. They like to get things done. I like to have abstract ideas and discuss and so forth. But so if I accept that, it's much easier for us to have a dialogue and have openness in our communication about, okay, now, Maxine, I think you a bit more rigid today. Can you just or am I feeling it wrong? Because then when you talk about it, it's so much easier, instead of reading between the lines and go out and complain to our better half on the dinner table after work, so yeah, it's I think a lot of these, the headline series, helping the team to become more open, helping the team to explore the opportunities of differences, and talk about the most important and discuss the most important things that drives team performance, which is not your subject matter expertise, but is your interpersonal relationship.
Yeah. And so a few things that I want to go back into what you just presented. I like where you started, right? I mean, what are the 3 things you need to know? Do I need a facilitator? Do I have making sure my team has buy-in? And then I go to the module. So I could tell immediately you're not in sales because you didn't say download it for $49.99, right? So you're not in sales. And I love where you started, because those are the real questions, right? Does my team want to take this journey with me? Whether you're a leader or another team member, and do I need help to take the journey? And I think once you answer those 2 questions, I think you're in a good place to press the buttons. So I wanted to notice that. And 2, I wanted to invite you maybe a little later in the year to come on and do a demo, so that we could actually see what is going on, because it sounds really rich with the assessment. So it sounds like quite a few things are happening with this tool, right? So it sounds like there's an assessment. The team jumps in and presses the button, and the first thing they get is that pulse survey. And then there's an individual assessment, which says, the 5O assessment for the individual. And it sounds like from the combination of those 2, a map is drawn for the team and a map is drawn for the individual. So the individual, I love that because very often we forget. I know there's no I in team, but there's an M and an E, right? If you could spell TEAM. So there's an M and an E. And that's why I always say, I exist in the team. Without me, there will be no team. So I love the fact that your tool is playing for the individual and playing for the team so that the two can move together, right? Because how else can you have buy-in? How else can you have us knowing what is healthy conflict? And one of the things that you mentioned, as I said, healthy conflict is the fact that we can now have a different frame. So back to our reframing, there's a different frame in which we can look at our personality differences. We can label these as creator versus more rigid, structured thinker. And therefore, when I speak to Hans, I'm not speaking because Hans is always offered a new idea. No, the creator in him is offered a new idea. He is still here. He is still full of good intentions. And my rigidity doesn't allow me to see his creativity or want to see his creativity right now. So it's a great frame because it allows us to move away from the personality conflicts and really begin to leave space to understand, okay, what is the creative person telling me in this moment? Do I need to listen? I have those options. So I love the fact that it allows for a reframing of conflict. It allows for us to buy into something, recognizing, and I love the quote you gave with the algae as well, because it gives us another way to say, oh, I'm getting irritated right now. You know, I'm allergic to that. Not the person is wrong or the person is bad, but just what I'm allergic to right now. So I love the reframing of that. So I want to go a little bit back into, well, is there anything else in terms of, you know, we love reports, you know, people love reports and they love to-do lists, right? Because it's like we spent money doing this program together. So how long is the program for usually? Like if a team is going into the program, how long is it for? And what reports do you get at the end of the day so you could say to senior management, oh, we had a return on our investment, because that's really important. What does that look like?
Always important. Always
Yes.
important. So,
well, you're a consultant, you know that.
Yeah. Bring me the money. So how the program is actually depending also on if we sell a lot to team coaches. So if the team coach, for instance, has like 6 months engagement together and use the tool, then the engagement lasts for at least 1 year, because after the 6 months with the coach, then they are, if the coach has been good at managing the team and actually build the capabilities that they can be self-led, because I think that's like the nirvana of for every team coach, is that we want them to be self-led after we're done and do the great practice that you teach them. But after that 6 months, they can be self-led and then they can do it themselves. And then, so we believe that at least 6 to 12 months is the minimum of training, but you can train here forever and ever as a continuous training, because what happens within a year or two, you have a new employee in place, or you change the team, or you have a new strategy, or it's some change that happening that make actually different people react to change in different ways. So we still need to talk about psychological safety. Still need to talk. You're never like outlearned on those topics, because it's always fresh. So we have like a professor in Norway that says that psychological safety is fresh meat, because you cannot just store it away forever, and then you need to take it in and take it like it's a fresh thing all the way. But like, for be very concrete, so at least 6 to 12 months it's the minimum, and then we can say, and we can promise you a report that says that one thing is that, okay, psychological safety increased with 15%, conflict resolution mechanism in our team with 30%. So actually, that's not so very important. the most important is the feeling of what they like. Are they
Mhm.
more efficient? Are they delivering better products?
Mhm.
Are they delivering on their purpose, on their common goals, or their OKRs, or what have you in your terms internally? That's what's important.
Mhm.
What we are helping them with is the foundation of the team and building that, and to deliver on that common objectives that they have, and the purpose that the team have. So that's like the data there is that we see now is that they are being more efficient, they are being better, solving problems much faster than before, and so forth, because now we have the ceiling of comfort zone that we can push each other in a better way, in a more efficient way, instead of waiting for the team leader, or where's the team leader, you know? And that's what the report shouldn't be like, okay, from the tool is one thing. Yes, we see increase in every level. We do that all the time. But I think actually that's not the sales pitch. The sales pitch here is that we can see that we deliver better products, or we can see that the finance department is much more efficient at, and so forth, and bringing better bottom line at the end.
Yeah, I like that, because I think that's where the real return on investment is, right? The reason why we do everything as a coach, and the reason why we facilitate teams, is really because you want the team to be more effective. And one of the things that really comes through clear, a few things that come through clear. One, we want the teams eventually to take responsibility for this themselves. So we don't want to be like, it's not like therapy where you spend years with the same therapist, right? Because you should really fire that therapist. You want to be with this coach, with this AI program, where the coach actually works herself out of the frame, and then your team takes leadership of the frame, because in that time you should have learned how to facilitate the discussions. Everything else you can mimic the coach. That's one. The second thing is, because it's an AI program, you can keep it as a tool for your team anyway. So if you have team meetings once a month, you could spend 30 minutes just doing something to keep your team refreshed. So you don't have to hire a coach to come in and say, okay, we need this team retreat because we have all of these unresolved issues. This is a way to keep your team together, keep your team discussing the issues, keeping your team, your team remit alive, your team vision, whatever it is, alive. And then the other part of it, which I guess that's where the AI comes in, because that iterative learning for the team, and that adaptation, and some of the things you mentioned, right? A new team member joins, that is a new team. A new leader, it's a new team.
Exactly.
So it does need reconfiguring. So I like that the fact that it is always going to be alive. And then the third thing you spoke about was the reporting, because I guess if you take a pulse survey now, and in psychological safety is 20%, in 6 months' time, it should go up a few points. And what I think is so much, which has more value for me, is that other than seeing those points increase, what we're really going to see is the relationships among the teams get better. We are going to see the team members giving each other feedback. We're going to see healthy conflict. We're going to see more commitment. We're going to see more accountability, where there's peer-to-peer accountability, not just leader. And all of those things down to making the team more effective, more efficient, and more cost savings. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's a great way of phrasing it, Maxine. And so that's where I think very many tools lack the capability of actually measuring this, because we also measure not only so the data that the people see is that, like, the 6 pillars, but what we also measure is that, did this tool increase or did this module that every time they train, we measure, like, how did it increase your relationship? Do you feel that you are you motivated to become a better listener, or are you motivated now after you have done this training to actually set each other to make each other accountable for setting the high standards to each other, and so forth. So we measure also these under dimension in very detailed ways. So we have a lot of data that support those arguments that they are actually increasing their relationship, building better dynamics. And also what you mentioned just is that a new team member joins the team, it's a new team, but also when a team member leaves the team, it's also a new team, because then you also have others that taking new positions, and you see more of other people because of one personality that's left, and they need to set the new tone. So I think it's very important to think of it as a continuous learning, because the ultimate goal here is that if an organization is a learning organization, that they feel that they spend time in the right way, as Stephen Covey would have said it, the sharpen the saw before you actually start sawing the wood, you know, because instead of so instead of just jumping in and do a task that we love, you know, because that's what's happening. A lot of project teams and a lot of teams out there, and leadership teams also, discussing cases, discussing operative cases all the time, instead of like, okay, take 2 steps back, talk about us, how can we improve our relationship, and then we can bring our whole self, and we accept that, and then the team performs better over time.
And I guess what this really, I guess what appeals to me about this is that it's not a silver bullet. It's not a quick fix, right? Because that's what life is like, right? There is no silver bullet, right? So we just as we work on ourselves, and you know, every stage of our development, we have different challenges, and we continue working ourselves. Very often people don't think of, we need to work on our team in the same way. You know, so we do a training, we teach emotional intelligence, and then we walk away from it and we never touch it again for years. Because we did that 2 years ago. We did an emotional intelligence workshop, right? A half-day workshop. So now everybody's emotionally intelligent. Or this year we did a team retreat. We did a 2-day team retreat in which we discussed all the issues from the team. We don't need to do that again. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work because by the time you get back to your desk and you have 20 things to do, you focus on doing that, and nobody comes back to say, hey, let's get together as a team to discuss this. So what I really appreciate about the tool is that it really is about the life cycle of the team, right? You mentioned people going, people staying. We might have a different strategy. We might have different projects, but the people in the team, how are we keeping them together? How are we reminding them once a month, this is a safe space? How are we telling them it's okay to have conflict? It's okay to see the creator in one and the rigidity in the other, and know that's what's clashing right now. So that's what I really appreciate about it, that there's no promise of an end. There is a promise of continuous learning and continuous acceleration. You know, so that's what I really appreciate about it. As I said, you know, you're just not a salesman, and I love that, because we want the truth, and as we really want to offer people a tool that really will take their team forward. So in terms of going specifically to the leader, and a leader who's been using this AI tool, what can the leader look forward to for him or herself? And I mean that as an individual as well as a leader of a team.
So can you what they?
Yeah, what are the benefits for them? What can they look forward to? And then when you finish with that, Pamela, if you want to jump in and talk about anything, we could do that. So go ahead, Hans, and then we go to Pamela.
Yeah. So what they can expect from the tool is that they so in a very easy way, you can say that if you're great at your subject matter expertise, and that's what you love to do, we handle your people. So we help you handle the people. So so you can think of it that way. We like, so if you have, so because how many a percentage of your time are you actually doing operative work as a leader? If you think about that, how many meetings are in a week? How many cases are you doing, instead of like take 2 steps back and actually leading people? Because I think the term leading is not about fixing things and getting things done. Leading is about helping people managing people to let them perform at their best, because then you set the environment of performance, and then you maybe don't need that 2 or 3 other meetings in a week, because people are fulfilled and ready to like really go forward with things, and have the trust and the vulnerability, trust and so forth. But so within like, there was a side step maybe, but in terms of what they can expect is that like a super easy way to facilitate discussions, what is the most important discussion the team should have to build the capabilities of success within that team, and helping them adapt the discussion to the specific team, because when you sit so 2 teams in the same organization at the same level in the building can have totally different issues, and even sitting like 2 meters away from each other, and then team A train on totally different things than team B because we adapt it. So helping you structure a structured way of having the best discussion the team should have, working on building their successful capabilities. So
yes, I love that. And it's like a little secret sauce for a leader, right? So this is a little cheat tool, so that even if you go into a totally new environment, a totally new team, you can actually do this, and it will use this AI model, I should say, and it will adapt itself to give your team exactly what it needs. I mean, what leader wouldn't want that, right? Yeah.
Exactly, and what a funny thing is that what we actually can, what we hear in the market and what we are saying ourselves is that, think of the scenario where, okay, you are the leader and you go in and you have prepared a PowerPoint for 3 hours because I feel that we should talk about how we have discussions in our team. We need to set some ground rules of having discussions. So I have worked and I have read myself, and I open on the internet and maybe use some GPT to get, okay, how should I structure this? How should I do this? And then you bring that content to the team, and they just shoot you down at the spot, because how on earth can you bring this to our team? But if a solution take that role instead, you can blame the solution, and you can point at the platform that the platform is saying this and not me. So you have a safety pillar here, like a low threshold to kickstart, So you can
Call
blame
hands.
you can blame the solution, instead of blaming you, Maxine, if you brought that presentation to the team.
I love it. Yeah. I'll say call hands. His number is, international charges may apply.
And Pamela, I must say, I love your glasses. That's like the coolest glasses I've ever seen.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Pamela, anything you want to add to us?
Well, not just my comment, because traditionally we measure the figures. So I just thought it interesting that this program measures the softer skill. I didn't even know that you could measure that. I mean, you might recognize a change in a person's behavior, but in terms of measuring, I think that's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, and how it and how that it could affect the performance of the team.
Yeah, definitely. So that's what that's something that is kind of like very pervasive in this, because they're all the different surveys at different points in time, and it really is the movement and the surveys that will give you the information. Yeah, so I think we could move to so it's been very informative, and I definitely want to invite you back, hence, to do a demo, right? So we want to do a demo where we could actually have people having the experience of what a tool is like, and we will do that. And then according to who's on the call, so Pamela, I could say that I would definitely, if you want to demo it for your team, I would definitely do that with you after Hans comes on. So later on in the year, I would definitely do a demo with your team, and that would give you some some a better feel for it and see what it works, how it works and what it looks like. So we could schedule that sometime in the future for your team to look at and see, you know, if it how it feels for you. Yeah. So we definitely want to do that. So let's so we have about 10 more minutes on our calls. I think what is the best way for us to spend this 10 minutes? Let's co-create our last 10 minutes together. What y'all want to do?
Well, could you just give me the six tree? Is it?
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Psychological safety, feedback,
Right.
healthy conflict, commitment and meaning with buy-in, then accountability and expectations, and then impact and results. Yes?
Yeah.
Great.
So hence, tell us what you're looking forward to. So we are in 2024 May. So let's say it's May 2029. Tell us about what's happening with Team Coach AI.
So then Team Coach AI will be the preferred method in the industry of every coach in the world. That in 2029, it's like so many years. But the ultimate goal here is like be helping the teams just to make it super easy to perform better together and take out all the frictions that people hesitate to talk about and stop avoiding conflict, stop avoiding or become better at giving appreciation to each other and promote the work we do and help each other out. So I think it's always like fluffy and big words to say that we build a better world, but actually we with small incremental steps that on the team and individual performance, we can actually, when we feel better and we perform better together, when we have better relationship at work, we have better psychological feeling in our private lives, it's work-life balance, you know. So I think it's super important and I think that when we talk about leaders, and I think it's an understatement that or let me rephrase it maybe, that you should really think about why you are a leader. Think about that, like why are you a leader? Why did you take that position? Is that the only position you can take because of you getting more salary, or and then with more salary you get personal responsibility, and then because I just needed to get some to get more salary, I get some personal responsibility, and then I don't care about maybe that, but it's like, you know, so how it is. So I think it's a system problem, like school, you know, they have you have like scores that you need to perform at this different level, and it's only subject again, you know, and then you get in, and if you always look at the subject matters and then not on the relationship or how good you are as a person with other persons, I think we are really missing something in the world, because the whole system is not rigged to actually develop great leaders. And then, but you cannot fix the system, so don't use energy on the system. So instead of helping people to perform within those frameworks that we have in the world, and then that's where we want to position ourselves to, like, okay, I become that leader because I want, but you also need to want to be helping people performing at their best, and not only you as the leader performing at your best. You need to think about, why are you a leader?
Yeah, you know, that is so, go ahead, Pamela, you go ahead.
No, it's just agreeing.
Yeah. And I think that's, for me, that's why I do the work that I do, because it's my contribution. It's what I have, it's what I can contribute. And I think that's, you know, I heard people describe leadership as divinity, you know, and it really is that, right? Because why else are you doing it? You are such an influential part of somebody's 40-hour week, and sometimes more. Sometimes you see your leader more than you see your spouse. Sometimes you talk to people in your team more than you see your family. And what would it be like if that was a positive and impactful relationship for all of us? Not that it's, you know, it's not the yellow brick road in terms of, but having those difficult conflicts in terms of saying to people, you're not pulling your weight. And how does that, the ripple effect that that has on your family, your community, the places where you worship, and just the world, right? So, I mean, for me, I mean, when you said that, Hans, that's the part that I connect with, because that is the reason why I do everything that I do. That's my little bit of, my little piece of contribution, which may be felt, hopefully it's felt, hopefully it's not, but everybody who I work with, that's all I want to do, right? So that's, yeah, so that really spoke to me. So I'm really happy to have this conversation with you. And I'm really inviting you back so that we could actually have the discussion, display the module. And what I'll do is I'll invite a few people to actually see this happening, because I think a lot of people are curious about it, but you know, it's like time and everything else. But we will, as I said, I will send you the recording. We'll package this for social media in 1 or 2 ways after. And then we will, we'll have some more discussions about it, bring more people into the room, and to get this going some more. So I want to thank you for being here with us today. And if
thank you so much, Maxine, for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I would leave it open for last words from you and Pamela if there's anything else that you all want to say. So good, take it away.
Well, I just thought it was interesting because, of course, I'm seeing where AI, you know, everybody's talking about AI, and I like how Jan's put it. It's that people who use AI will take the jobs, you know, from us, well, who not using AI.
Yeah.
Well, I work at a company where that is not even on the radar. They are spending money on other things than this too.
Yeah.
But I guess eventually they're going to realize what's happening.
Yeah. Very true. Thanks for that. And hence, you could close off our session today.
So I would just like leave it with a reflection on terms of every leader out there, and think of it like we just also discussed now, or why you are a leader and what you can do to improve the performance of the other people around you, and help them become better employees. Because one thing we really don't talk about is employeeship. How can we make great employeeship? And because you have one leader in a team with 10 people, so that's 9 people that are performing, and we always go to the leader and put that leader on the leadership training program, and you're equipped to take the 9 people of you to become high performing. That's the 9 people that needs to be trained, not the one leader. And that's something we help them with Team Coachr.
Wonderful. So thanks, team, for being here with me today and for spending time on Leadership Unlearned and Reframed. And Team Coach AI sounds like something that's really going to reframe leadership and employeeship. So thank you, Hans, and thanks, Pamela, for being with us.
Thanks.
Take care, guys.
Evening.
Yeah,
thank you so much for inviting me, Maxine.
You're most welcome. Bye-bye.
Great talk.